and get started. Naomi?
Okay. Thank you for joining us, everyone, this morning for Tech Talk. Really appreciate you being here with us today. My name is Naomi Molina. I'm the Director of Marketing and Engagement for Innovation Park. And before we start, I'd like to introduce our Executive Director, Ron Miller.
Thanks, Naomi. Just welcome everybody. This is a great turnout for this event. Like as I said, I think we were about to set a record, at least on Zoom. We're really glad you could join us. Today's program is a great chance to hear from some very important partners in Innovation Park. The MagLab and Danfoss server core are the cornerstones of what's being built here at Innovation Park, based on collaboration between research institutions and private sector R&D. They've got some really exciting news to share with you today. But before we get their presentations, I just want to give you a quick update on the new facility that we're building. If you haven't heard, we received a $10.2 million grant from the Economic Development Administration to build the new home for the North Florida Innovation Labs. It's a $17 million, 40,000 square foot mixed use business incubator, which will include wet lab space and space for light assembly, some manufacturing, small run manufacturing, engineering, and prototype development to go along with a number of services to help entrepreneurs commercialize new technologies. The FSU Research Foundation and the Tallahassee Leon County Office of Economic Vitality, along with the Leon County R&D Authority, are partnering to provide another $6.8 million in matching funds. On February 4th, we awarded the architect and engineering contract to Tallahassee-based architects Lewis and Whitlock. We've begun the building programming and design process. Construction is expected to begin in March of next year, with completion in September of 2023. I'm happy to answer any questions about the project that you have at the end of the program. If there's time, we want to make sure everyone has a chance to get through their presentations. But while we're going through the design and construction of the building, Michael Tentnowski, who is Innovation Park's Director of the North Florida Innovation Labs, is already working with and helping early stage technology companies. And Michael's here now to tell you more about what he's up to. Michael.
Thank you, Ron. Hello, everyone. Glad everyone could be here. We've got quite a few things happening at North Florida Innovation Labs. You heard about the most exciting news, building a new facility. But also, I wanted to mention that we have re-established a program called TechForce. It used to be the Entrepreneurial Excellence Program, the EEP, and TechForce is focusing solely on technological innovations. And TechForce will be starting March 9th through the 25th. And some of the topics that we're going to cover are the basics of entrepreneurship, customer discovery, business models, IP protection, design challenges, prototyping, and pitch training. So we're gonna launch the new program, and again, focusing primarily, if not exclusively, on hard science innovations. And then, interestingly enough, during all this COVID stuff, we've been able to attract 5 new virtual members to the program. And those virtual members are doing really cool things in energy intelligence, systems and controls, in lithium ion battery, focusing on solid state solutions, software that helps readers combat autism, dyslexia, ADHD, and other reading challenges. We've got early diagnoses of infectious diseases with a biotech company, and we've got rapid cooling technology for warm beverages, which will be featured on QVC in the coming months. So those are some of the things that are happening with our virtual members. And then today we have for you our new co-working member in Manzer Edbrook Technology, and they're going to tell you a bit about what they're doing. Basically, they're an R&D firm exploring rapid prototyping systems like CNC milling and 3D printing. So with that, I want to introduce you to Patrick Manzer and Charles Edbrook of Manzer Edbrook Technology.
Hello, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. So hopefully this works. Can everyone see the PowerPoint? All right. Thank you all for having us. I'm Patrick Manzer here with Manzer Edbrook Technology. I also have Charlie, but his mic isn't working at the moment. So we're both juniors in mechanical engineering at the FAMU FSU College of Engineering. We founded Mansur Edberg Technology in January of 2020 with the mission of bringing easier, more accessible, rapid prototyping to everyone. We'll get into a little bit more about what we do, but as the newest members, it's nice to speak to all of you. This is the most people in the group that I've gotten to really talk with at once. So thank you all for having us and letting us introduce ourselves. Everyone here, I'm sure, knows a bit about rapid prototyping, but we got our 3D printers and our milling machines. They both have their very important use case. With 3D printers, they're very inexpensive, easy to use, compact, and accessible. This is what's seen their dramatic rise in the office setting, especially where you just need prototypes easy and quick and things like that. Milling machines still have a very important place. They work with metals. They're much faster in general than a 3D printer, often work with a wider work area and improve the quality over 3D printers. 3D printers, they're slow. Unless you're spending a lot of money right now, unfortunately, we're stuck with plastic filament bases and stuff like that. The quality can be below what's needed for prototyping in a lot of cases, and these things can be a little constricting. But anyone who's worked with milling machines knows that they are very expensive, difficult to work with, massive, and so everyone just ends up contracting them out. So that wonderful speed over 3D printers they have is just pointless because, well, you're going to be wasting your time waiting 7 to 10 business days anyway. I'm going to skip through. I thought I deleted these slides. Sorry. So we are going to be exploring something called Project Firebird with our research and development project that we're doing. Project Firebird is kind of our foray into the rapid prototyping market. We want to approach CNC manufacturing from a different angle. Right now, you can choose between giant machines that cost a fortune, $100,000 to $150,000. That gives you 5 axes of use, wide versatility in prototyping, or you can stick with 3 axes and it's a lot cheaper and it can actually fit in a general office setting. We want to kind of combine that and make it as easy as a 3D printer. 5 axes for the price of 3, around $15,000 is our target market point. Or at least that's the one that our surveys and our validation has kind of told us would be the right number to get to. We want to widen the market so that more people use it in an office setting or for daily prototyping. And we want to be able to offer the versatility that a CNC machine offers over a 3D printer at the moment, while 3D printers get developed and advanced over the coming decade. Yeah, these are all slides that we use for our general pitch, but thank you for letting us talk today. Feel free to contact us at these numbers or emails if you feel like you have any questions for us. So thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Mansur Edberg, for your great pitch. Now I'd like to introduce our first speakers for their 15-minute presentation, and we will have time at the end of the event. So please hold any questions that you may have until the end. First up, we're going to discuss the new Danfoss expansion in Innovation Park. And here to provide more details is Ricardo Schneider, president of Danfoss.
I think we're having some troubles with Naomi's connection. So here to start is Ricardo Schneider. Ricardo.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for the opportunity to share with all of you what we work with. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So together I have Sanjoy, that is the VP of operation that is taking care about all the execution and all the good stuff that our team is doing here in Tallahassee in China. And we have also, let's say, Christina that is taking care about our people, in charge for HR, that is going to help us to go through this short presentation. So first of all, I needed to share with you who we are. So we are part of a very large group of businesses that's private owned, belongs to a family in Denmark. And the group has about 28,000 people around the globe. And we have manufacturers in many different countries. And our headquarters is in Denmark, just about 2 hours north of Hamburg in Germany. So our three main markets are US, Germany, and China. As a Danish company, so we need to get out of the country to make sure that we get some more business, because Denmark is about the same size as Maryland in terms of geographic and population. So it's a very global company, a very focus on new technologies and technology that will help us to go through a green transformation that we all are talking about. And TurboCore is one of the business that we have in this group. So Sanjoy, if you want to take these slides from now, and then
Sure.
I will be here to support you.
Sure. So I'll go over TurboCore, give you some history and some major milestone and our future vision, where we want to be in next 5 years. And so 26 years ago, TurboCore started its journey in 1995 in Australia. It's basically a startup. We had our first prototype in 1995, and then the key milestones that we need to focus on is 2001 has been a focus point for us, because we had installed our first compressor on a consumer application. Then 2006 is also another milestone. We start our process of moving to Tallahassee. Now, why Tallahassee? I will share a little bit in my future slides. Then since then, we have been enhancing our portfolio year over year on innovation and green initiative. Danfoss is a green company, and TurboCore is also is a green innovative product line that we provide to our consumers. 2011-12, this is also has been a major milestone for us, because as I say, we started as a startup, very small, with 3 individuals, and then this 11-12 timeframe, this is where we start making money. And this is the time also Danfoss has taken ownership of TurboCore. And our first product line was around 200 ton capacity. Recently, we have introduced compressors that are capable of 400 and 450 tons. Next slide, Ricardo. We are extremely proud to show this slide. If you come to our corporate headquarters, TurboCore's corporate headquarters in Innovation Park, you will see all these awards that we are extremely proud to display. Since 2003, year over year, we have achieved the Innovation Product of the Year, also Manufacturer of the Year awards from various international agencies, and also various international governments as well. So what it shows us that we are very balanced between innovation and execution. We're not all about innovation or not about execution. So we have been recognized globally for innovation and execution as well. And that, of course, it is possible for the great team we have working for us. Next slide, Ricardo.
So we have a short video now that we are going to share to explain a little bit more about what is the product, what is the technology. And then you can have this better understanding what we are doing here. Can you hear the sound?
Yes.
At our TurboCore Experience Center, Danfoss's engineers are working every day to make your building smarter and stay ahead of the curve.
But when you choose TurboCore for your smart building, you will be missing a lot.
To start with, you will miss the complex oil management system, as there's no oil to manage. TurboCore is our smart compressor that uses an oil-free technology. Therefore, no oil degradation issues, which in turn results in sustained energy efficiency and consistent performance through the lifetime of the chiller. You can also give oil changes, bearing changes, and associated schedule maintenance a miss, which leads to higher uptime and lower maintenance costs.
Now let's see what you do get when you choose TurboCore. The magnetic levitation technology. It's driven by a single rotating part that levitates. With no physical contact, you'll miss not just wear and tear, but also the noise and vibration typical of conventional compressors.
A chiller powered by TurboCore has the best part load efficiency amongst chillers. It is an intuitive compressor with an integrated variable speed technology that delivers industry best efficiency for varying load. So, you'll not only provide a comfortable and productive environment for your occupants, but also get lower energy bills.
Heard of a compressor that starts with just 2 amps electric current? TurboCore requires a very low starting current, so you can give high-capacity electrical infrastructure investments a miss.
TurboCore safeguards itself from failures caused by power outages and extreme fluctuations. So you'll miss the frequent downtimes.
While TurboCore works perfectly with current refrigerants, it is also designed to be future-ready and work with low GWP refrigerants, making sure your transition is seamless. TurboCore not only makes your building smart, but also helps adhere to green building standards. And that's totally unmissable.
TurboCore is so intelligent, it monitors itself using data logging, smart prognosis, and alerts. So you're choosing not just an intuitive compressor, but the smartest one as well. No matter your need, guest delight in a hotel, patient care in a hospital, commuter satisfaction at metro stations, employee comfort at offices, safeguarding millions of dollars of data at data centers, ensuring a great indoor climate is at the heart of TurboCore. TurboCore, a range of smart compressors for your truly smart building.
So I hope that you get a better understanding about what we are doing here. Then I hope that you pick up that the compressor is levitating in magnetic field. The compressor is depending from magnetic technologies. So it's important to understand, because when Sanjoy get to elaborate about why we have been choose Tallahassee as a home of this technology, it is a logical link what we have here in our community. So Sanjoy, please go ahead with the next slide.
Sure. As you learned from the video, that our basic customers are anywhere there's a large building or a large facility. There's 2 types of support we provide. One is process cooling and comfort cooling, and we do that with our compressors being installed in chiller, which is could be water cooled or could be air cooled chillers. Now, where we are on volume point of view, there are almost 90,000 compressors out there already for us. And if we look into overall market distribution between China, Europe, and Americas, we have fairly equal market share. And then there is an emerging market for us is Asia Pac, other Asian countries. Next slide, Ricardo. Thank you. So now talk a little bit more about our footprint. So before I go a little bit more detail, we are very proud that all our facilities are IATF and ISO accredited. And then also as you said, we are green environment, so we are also ISO 14,000 accreditation also. Now, our headquarters is in Tallahassee in Innovation Park. We have recently invested a lot to build a new 8,000 square foot building. And then we also have an advanced test facility and a manufacturing that gives us around total of 10,000 square meters. We have 250 people working in these facilities. We serve our customers in either in the factory service center, and also we do most of our design work in Tallahassee. All our engineers, we have mechatronics, software, and aero engineering to be very prominent. And also we have our advanced manufacturing technology development over here as well. Germany, we have a smaller footprint. For our customers proximity, we have a service center, and for our 5-year plan, we will be growing in Germany as well. China, Danfoss has a huge campus in Haiyan, which is around 2 hours from Shanghai. We have around 2,600 square meter and 55 people for TurboCore allocated in Haiyan. And for our 5-year plan, we also have plan to grow in China as well. Next slide, please. Now, the question is why Tallahassee? So Tallahassee has a magnetic technology ecosystem. It's a MagLab, FSU, the FAMU. We like and appreciate the partnership with these research centers. And also, over the years, we have developed a very skilled team of engineers, manufacturer in Tallahassee. So for our future growth, and when we came into Tallahassee and since then future growth, we believe Tallahassee has a very unique niche for us. And of course, we enjoy the facilities and the surrounding in the innovation park. So overall, for our growth, we have chosen Tallahassee for our 5 years expansion. I'll talk a little bit more about our expansion on the next slide.
Christina, I think it's very important to mention this. The engineering school that is close by provides us a lot of talents. So I think 20% of our workforce on the engineering community is coming from people from the engineering school. And I think that we see a lot of benefit with this pool of talents that we have just cross street from us. Then we have about 15 interns working from aerodynamic to power electronics to mechatronics in manufacturing. So the engineering school makes a lot of sense in terms of pool of talent. Christina, if you want to comment on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've formed some relationships with the local colleges, especially the FAMU and FSU School of Engineering. So we've been able to get some really great talent to help us with these internships. And we've been building up that program year over year. So we're very excited about that opportunity and looking to continue to expand on that.
Yeah, it's very important. And your dog is really part of the
I'm sorry about that.
That's part of the So Sandra, please go ahead and
sure. So next slide, please, Ricardo. Yeah. So we see a very strong need for expansion. So there's a couple of reasons why we need to expand. As you said, we are a very innovative company. We are growing our product portfolio year over year. And we believe a strong need for our R&D capacity enhancement. Also with test capacity enhancement, we are focusing on. For that, our current production line would be part of the R&D expansion, And for that, we needed to expand our manufacturing facility. Also, the current product line that we have, it is fairly old. What we started with, we would like to take an opportunity to invest and have a Industry 4.0 and modern technology manufacturing product line for our workers. So for this, we partnered with Innovation Park and also with the local city, and then this plot adjacent to our current facility, we would like to grow our manufacturing footprint in 3 phases. So with the first phase, we would have around 85,000 square feet production capacity with a very lean and Industry 4.0 technology mindset. And with that, we would also like to develop these facilities as such that it can be grow in multiple phases. So for first 5 years, we will focus on phase 1, and fourth year onward, we'll also start focusing on phase 2 and phase 3 with future expansions for our product. As I said before, Tallahassee is the right place for us, and we believe with this expansion, someday our facility could be a campus for Danfoss, for other business units can come and join us over here. This is what we are hopeful of, and we will continue to grow in this wonderful community. And this community has provided us talent and great workforce, and also the partnership with this engineering and MagLab community. Next slide, Ricardo.
Thanks, Sanjoy. And I just want to emphasize, let's say that we have probably in the Danfoss group one of the most talented group of people here in Tallahassee. So the level of innovation, the level of let's say the balance between execution innovation is outstanding. It's above any average standard around the globe. So we have in Tallahassee a very, very strong team, and it makes this business growing and make this business stronger and stronger in the future. So I just want to finalize. There is another short video, because a lot of people ask us why Danfoss Supercore, even in the pandemic year, is growing. So last year we grew about 6%, and this year we are predicting that we are going to grow above 12%. So where this growth is coming from? There's a lot of business that are suffering, and we are very lucky to be in a business that are growing and require more and more this kind of technology. And one of them is data centers. I just want to close the presentation with a very short video about a data center and what a data center means in terms of a green transformation. So let me get this to work here. Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay.
Any data center produces a lot of excess heat. The thing that we really do different here with our application is that we cool that very, very energy efficient. And the excess heat that is in the data center, we recover that and we reuse that heat in other applications.
So just to illustrate that the technology that we have here is vital to reduce the footprint, the CO2 footprint in data centers. So all these big companies, Google, Amazon, they are looking for better energy efficiency type of solutions and a major commitment to reduce carbon footprint. So we are in a very good position, And our business, part of this growth that we see is coming from this data center. So that's what we have to share with you guys today.
Thanks, Ricardo. I don't know if Naomi's back with us, but thanks, Ricardo, Sanjoy, Christina. We really appreciate you taking the time out to share this really exciting news about your expansion and educating all of us on what's going on with Danfoss. It's a very exciting future for all of us. Naomi.
Yep, I'm here. Sorry about that. Again, thank you guys for taking the time to be with us and for the great presentation. I would like to introduce our next speakers now. Again, please hold your questions until the end. We'll have a few minutes for Q&A. For next up, we are going to be discussing the new partnership between the MagLab and MagCorp. And to discuss that with us and to provide more detail, we've got Greg Bobinger, the director of the MagLab, and Jeff Whalen, director of MagCorp.
All right, I'll start with just a few minutes of opening remarks, and then I'll turn the microphone over to Jeff, who has a presentation to make. The first point that I'd like to make is that the MagLab is a huge asset for the city of Tallahassee, and we very much want to participate in the economic development of Tallahassee. Our primary mission, however, and the mission for which we are paid using taxpayer dollars from the National Science Foundation largely, but also state of Florida funds and other grants that we attract, that funding is to generate knowledge. It's to do basic research largely. And a lot of that research is so fundamental that we ourselves don't know what the ultimate applications might be. That might be a third of the research. Another third of the research, we can sort of tell a story that this new knowledge may someday have some impact on the economy, positive impact. And then about a third of the research, we can actually draw a direct line to products that may impact the private sector. But there's this chasm between research organizations and the private sector. And so oftentimes we'll develop intellectual property. We'll work with our colleagues in the Office of Commercialization to get an IP position, but we don't really have the time, in some cases, the inclination in other cases, and the knowledge and networking needed to go out and commercialize that IP. And I often tell the story that every couple of months I would get an email from somebody out in the private sector saying, we think the MagLab could help us with this problem. And I would sort of struggle to know what the response would be, because we really don't have the folks to put the time and effort into seeing what commercial opportunities might be there. And I think I was talking with Jeff Whalen, and if it wasn't Jeff, it was someone else with an entrepreneurial bent at the MagLab. And they were saying, Greg, these emails are not an annoyance. These are people who we call customers. And so we were clearly missing a component, an institution, if you will, or an organization that really wanted to work that side of the angle. And Jeff Whalen left the MagLab to join the College of Entrepreneurship. Leslie Richardson is still at the MagLab, and Abby Quayle left FSU Office of Vice President. The three of them formed MagCorp. And the way I see MagCorp is it can go out and find applications for MagLab technologies, or indeed other technologies across the university, and help with commercialization in that way. Our own researchers can decide to work with MagCorp or not. There's no exclusive arrangement there. But there's been a very creative arrangement between Florida State University and MagCorp that settles some of the negotiations that need to take place for developing IP and developing commercial opportunities ahead of time. So that if MagCorp finds a new company out there that can help commercialize FSU IP or draw on MagLab expertise, some of the groundwork has already been laid. And so I will turn over the microphone to Jeff because this agreement, and I emphasize it's between Florida State University, which is the legal entity responsible for the MagLab, and MagCorp. Those are the two parties. And FSU, the MagLab, and MagCorp will all mutually benefit by having this arrangement in place. So Jeff?
Thanks, Greg. I appreciate that intro very much. And I've got a couple slides here. I'll just see if these can, if I can get these successfully shared to you all. Hopefully it's displaying okay at this stage.
I think you need to swap presentation mode. We're seeing your next slide as well as your present slide.
Gotcha. Did that, that doesn't look like it fixed it though.
No, try again. It may, your cursor seems stuck, at least on my screen.
Let me try one more way.
Okay. With all the speed of PowerPoint. There we go.
Did that fix it now? It seems like it did.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, Greg, thanks so much for that intro, a little background on this story. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with everybody today. So many familiar faces. This is round 2 of a presentation that we gave, sort of unveiling this new news, talking about what has changed and what has happened. Some of you were at the Office of Economic Vitality stakeholder meeting and got a little bit of this information. Appreciate you coming out. And I see a lot of new names and faces that weren't there. So I want to start with this, description and this story of MagCorp by saying that this very well may be one of the most exciting opportunities for our community in a very, very long time, both in terms of the ability for this to enhance our culture here, our culture of innovation, our culture of lab originated innovation and commercialization of those technologies, our focus on magnet science, as well as some of the very important topics that have been discussed a lot in the recent months that pertain to building up our business community here and enhancing the startup ecosystem that we all operate in. So this MagCorp story starts several years ago. And as Greg mentioned, there was really not a platform in place where we could look into joint development of technologies between these private companies and these public research assets. And, this all started really with myself and a few others kind of going out and talking to the world, right? And we all here in this meeting, I think, know what the MagLab is, right? How it fits into our community, how it fits in on a worldwide stage in terms of research. And to most of the people in the outside world, outside of Tallahassee, they kind of know this too as sort of the top line here, right? It's the only facility of its kind. It's got the biggest magnet in the world. But they don't always understand that we have literally thousands of scientists visiting this facility every year, that we produce an incredible mass of intellectual property and innovation every year, and make discoveries that really aren't possible anywhere outside of this one national lab. So, it's always been sort of this destination, this Disney World for physicists, this crown jewel that everybody says, wow, this is incredible. This is world-class. This makes us very, very competitive in the research world. We didn't really have to argue this part. This was normal, and we kind of knew that this was there. But as Greg mentioned, everybody was also aware of this gap, this problem-solving gap. And they love everything, the prowess of the MagLab, the intellectual horsepower, the research assets, they're all there. But as Greg mentioned, these are here to make foundational discoveries. In a lot of ways, these are problems of the future, right? Greg mentioned a lot of times these innovations don't have a place yet. I have this habit of coining these terms, right? And we go out there, we talk to people about MagLab and MagCorp, and we a lot of times end up talking about two different kinds of innovation. One of them I call lab-originated innovation, and the other one I call market-originated innovation. And a lot of what occurs at the MagLab is lab-originated innovation. Inventions, innovations, aha moments that happen spurred from activity in the lab. This is in contrast with market-originated innovation, where a problem is identified that has commercial impact, and innovation is created to address that problem or address that matter. So all innovation in both cases, but really coming from totally different grounds. And the gap was, all right, I have a problem, I need an innovation, but it doesn't represent an opportunity for furthering foundational discoveries, for furthering the understanding and the knowledge base and the literature base of mankind, right? This is like, hey, my cell phone, right? Not let's make an experiment that's never been done before. So that's really this kind of gap. And, we really want to be clear here. This isn't something that we're speculating on. This isn't something that Jeff and Abby and Leslie just sat up one day and were like, oh, we know this is happening. This is the culmination of 2 years of talking with the outside world about these matters. And we sat back and said, all right, we just want to do what the world wants here, right? We don't want to make something up that nobody's going to want to employ. So we talked to people and we said, here's the MagLab. You all know this is an incredible facility. You know that there's opportunities here for you to be able to leverage these types of assets for your company's efforts. Why are you not doing it? Right? The 1-800 number is right there. The info@MagLab is right there. You can go ahead and email, but what's stopping you? These are really what would it boil down to, these top three. And the first one is listed first, not because it was randomly chosen, but because overwhelmingly it was the first response we received, which was, I don't want to go to the MagLab because I don't want to negotiate intellectual property and indirect costs, right? Either I did it once and I had a terrible experience, or I've never done it and I don't know anything about that world, or my friend did it and told me these terrible things that happen. And for one reason or another, intellectual property was really the main piece that was stopping these industrial organizations, these corporate organizations from coming and trying to form partnerships with the MagLab. The second thing that we got a lot was the slow timelines, right? They said, look, we operate at a different speed. We're able to execute agreements rapidly in cases where they have a lot of value to us. We also communicate much more rapidly than what we've heard or experienced happens at places that are public research institutions and national labs, right? Third one was maybe kind of the most interesting one. And this isn't wording that we chose. I thought it would be kind of fun to put what people were actually saying to us, which was, everybody talks science over there. Nobody talks business. I don't want to lecture on electron coupling. I don't want to be told how this instrumentation works. Greg, you like that one? That was for you. I want to talk business, right? I want to talk about bottom line. I want to talk about what I can use to profit from these types of innovations and these types of technologies. And really what it kind of boiled down to was that no advocate was there, right? There was nobody that was kind of standing at the gate of the MagLab saying, hey, it's business. It's not basic science, like this is applied and this has potential commercial value. I'm your person to talk to. There was never that person to just kind of land, right? Where all these corporations could just come and say, all right, that's the person that we need to talk to. They speak our language. And, this maybe is kind of a visual representation of our buddy, right? And he's out there and he's the CEO, or he's the research and development manager, he's the founder, or he's the director. He's an important guy at his commercial organization, and he's not happy. He's scratching his head and he's stressed, and he's got all these questions going through his mind. Again, these are questions that we received as feedback. They say, I don't know who to call. I don't even know where to start. What does the deal look like? How long it's going to take? How much is it going to cost? These are basic business questions that I want answered. But I'm dealing with a structure and a relationship that isn't conducive to me getting these answers easily or quickly. And what mode do I use? Okay, I've got the MagLab over there. Do I need consulting from them? Do I need sponsored research from them? Do I need product development services from them? And then, oh my gosh, all these other questions come up. Who do I find? Who do I negotiate with? Who do I pay? Who do I talk to? And it ends up with no movement. As I mentioned, this is the barrier. This is why they're not coming. And this is why we created MagCorp. The whole world knows MagLab is this crown jewel of magnet science, but there's never been a way to tap it. And we like to really kind of just lay this out there for our corporate partners. We put the MagLab to work for you. This rings with them. This resonates with them. It's in their language to speak this way. And now look at our little buddy. I mean, he is leaned back, feeling awesome, feeling relaxed now. And it's not because we've reinvented the channels for partnering with the MagLab and with Florida State University. They still are the same bubbles, but we have become an entity in between that serves as a conduit between our friend at the commercial organization and all of the research and development horsepower at the MagLab and FSU. So, there's a couple different ways I think you can think about it. I really like to just use words like we are this form of a concierge, right? We cultivate an experience for these commercial partners to form technology development partnerships with the MagLab. And that is the word concierge, right? We really have to be the ones that bend over backwards and make these types of partnerships successful for all parties involved. It's a big part of what the company does.
I can't help but notice he got his hair back too.
Oh, Greg, I left out my one-liner, right? Look, all of his hair grew back. A testament to his lowered stress levels. All right, so, I just have a couple more things I want to wrap up, and I want to show you a couple examples really fast. So, these are some bullet points. This is really high level, but we've done a lot of digging here and we've really tried to find some precedents, but to the best of our knowledge up to the current moment, the organization between FSU and MagCorp is a precedent-setting relationship for a public institution and a private corporation. It does address, as Greg mentioned, the primary considerations for terms of agreements that involve intellectual property and partnered research and development. We operate using a shared intellectual property model, right, which is shown here. There's a standardized indirect cost, and all of this is in a master format. This agreement was completed in December of 2020. This is hot off the press, folks. I mean, this is what is happening in our community right now that is setting the stage for very, very near-term change that's going to push us forward, not only in terms of what we can do with the MagCorp, MagLab, FSU partnership, but what we can do for our region and our community here locally in Tallahassee. Okay, a quick bit on how we work and who we work with. It's a really common question. We give a presentation like this and people will ask me, what are you even talking about, Jeff? Like, what kind of companies even want that? Like, I've never heard of anybody wanting to get these types of resources, and what does it look like when you start to engage in these relationships? And just quickly here, we break this down into steps. As you can see, this lowers the risk for everybody that's involved. It makes the project have stopgap points where everybody can say, hey, this is working and we want to proceed into the next step. I'm happy to answer any questions on that later. A couple of quick showcases on some clients. This was a particular company dealing with primarily microcatheter technologies that were magnetically assisted, either for guidance or tracing or articulation of those microcatheters. For those of you in the audience that are familiar with the SBIR STTR program, here's a fun fact. This client has been awarded 8 SBIRs in the last 12 months. I mean, winning, right? Incredible performance in this competitive arena. So a little bit about some of those projects. This was a great example of sort of that marriage between market originated pain and what we can offer here to leverage at the MagLab with MagCorp. And then just quickly, another quick showcase, this one was kind of funny. Oak Ridge National Lab comes and says, MagCorp, we want to work with you. And our first question was, you're Oak Ridge National Lab. Why do you need us? You're your own national lab. And they said, Jeff, you don't understand. You guys can get this done faster, more elegantly, and get us a better solution than we would be able to do on our own. And it would take us much longer and cost us more. We want to do this with you. So I'm not going to go over this whole slide. There's a lot of technical stuff on here, but I will draw your attention to the top right corner of the slide where you see what looks like a giant 3D printing nozzle head. That is because it is what it is. This is a 3D printer about the size of a small office building. It's called a big area additive manufacturing printer. Patrick and Charlie, if you guys are still on here, you may like this section, but what they are using this for is to print filled extrusion materials. So these are polymers with fillers of recycled neodymium magnet fragments. We built them a pulsed magnet coil assembly, which you see in the bottom of that image. It's the red coil looking can. Which aligns those particles and enables Oak Ridge National Lab to print fully bonded and magnetized permanent magnets directly in their form that's needed for the application. Usually these are giant rotors for things like electric motors and generators. So a couple of quick examples. Sorry to kind of run through those so quickly, but I do think they're important to share just to get a sense for what this kind of looks like when we form these partnerships. I really do appreciate the time to share with everybody today, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Greg and Jeff, for that great presentation. We're thrilled to have this partnership in the park. I would like to open the floor to any questions now about either presentation. If you have any, we have a few minutes. We can get a few questions in if you want to use the raise hand icon to indicate if you have a question. Okay, we see we've got a question from D.O. Roscoe. If you'd like to ask your question.
Hi, everyone. David Orozco, College of Business. Quick question. Does industry give you any pushback on the 40% ownership of the IP?
Well, I think that it's not going to be sort of never going to get pushback, because I think at negotiations such as these, it's pretty common to have all parties involved kind of come to the table with the hope that they will own all of the intellectual property. But the ratios that were settled on were overwhelmingly approved by the industrial and corporate partners that we talked to. So again, just sort of trying to take that approach of asking them what would get you to the table, what would get you interested in engaging with the MagLab when it comes to this matter of intellectual property ownership. And as I mentioned, overwhelmingly, this type of a split and division of the pie was acceptable to nearly every single partner that we've worked with.
If you can elaborate a little bit, also there's a big shift in the industry because everything's about speed. So in the past, everything was about owning intellectual properties and protecting as long as we can. Today, on this dynamic industry, let's say, speed is everything. So every industry is much more open now to deal with kind of arrangements like this, because you need to get speed. And to get speed, you need to be flexible. We need to be open-minded and change the way that it was done before. So I think that is a shift in both sides, and the time is very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Do we have any other questions?
Yes, yes. So Tom Painter here. I'm a MagLab engineer. I've been there for 29 years and a former entrepreneur. 10 years ago, I opened up a company for a specific purpose to integrate superconducting cables for a fusion experiment in international fusion experiment in France. And so I had that company open for 5 or 6 years, and I can attest to how valuable this MagCorp is. As an engineer, thinking entrepreneurially and trying to go out and start a business, all of those things that Jeff said about having the business side already established And I know this from experience because when I started up my own company, I had to put in place all of those things. And knowing this is already there, that we can just step into the IP transfer, the overhead rates, for example. It sounds simple, but these are all really pains. Having a credible business already established to put in grant proposals or offers for business. The administrative executive personnel that already are knowledgeable about magnets. It's just, I can't say how exciting this is to have in Tallahassee.
Tom, I really appreciate that, but I have to disagree with you on one thing. Your statement that you were a former entrepreneur, I really can't accept that. Maybe you took the hat off and put it on your dresser for a few minutes, but it still fits you really well.
We have a question from Chris Ray in the comments.
Great. Abby, you haven't had a chance to talk a little bit. I don't know if maybe you want to field Chris Ray's question regarding the indirect rate.
Sure. So our indirect rate was negotiated between MagCorp and Florida State University, as Greg mentioned. That's the that agreement is between these two entities. Although I used to be an attorney at Florida State University, negotiated some of these things, I am not in a position to break attorney-client privilege. I know there's some FSU folks that are here today, and if they want to comment from the MagCorp side, we're just one business that negotiates with FSU. So we don't even have that information, nor could we comment on it.
Thanks, Abby.
Okay, I think we have time for maybe one more question if we have anyone else that has a question. No? Okay, well, that's fine. And before we go, I wanted to provide a quick update about our upcoming tech grant program, which is our annual pitch night competition where early stage companies can compete to win a grant of up to $15,000. Michael earlier mentioned our newest program, which is Tech Force, and we have integrated tech grant with our Tech Force program. Participation in the Tech Force program will give you an advantage in winning the grant because at the end of the course, your tech grant application will be 95% complete. Our tech grant event is not until October 21st, 2021. However, applications will be available on our website starting March 1st. They are due on May 5th. For more information, please visit our website or feel free to email me directly if you have any questions. Again, huge thank you to our speakers for taking the time to be with us today and for all of our attendees for spending the hour with us for this great discussion. And we hope that you can join us for our next Tech Topics, which is on Tuesday, April 20th.
Thank you, everyone. It was great.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And thanks to all of the folks who spoke. And I do want to point out that Jeff Whalen is a two-time tech grant winner. And hopefully we help to inspire his amazing entrepreneurial spirit. And it's great to see the enthusiasm that he brings every day to promoting entrepreneurship in our community, whether in his in this job or his day job with the Jim Moran College. So we're excited to have him as part of the community as well as all the other speakers. But thanks a lot to everyone for showing up today. We really appreciate it, and look forward to the next one.
Thanks, Ron. I appreciate those supportive comments very much, and thanks to you and your team for putting on these awesome events and being the force that you are in our community.
There is a question: is there a recording of this Zoom? I noticed we have been recording, so if
yes, it is being recorded, and we will post that on our website, and I believe also on our Facebook page at Innovation Park. Is it TLH? I think it's the Facebook page, Innovation Park TLH.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.